Good morning. This is Ryan Gilgerson, lead creative here at the Coffee Cup, and we're glad you could join us today. We're excited about a new format that we have. You're going to see in just a moment that we've switched some things up and made some enhancements that we're very proud of with the Coffee Cup, and we think you're going to like it a lot. We've been talking a lot about digital branding strategies. Some of the things that we've talked about recently are how to influx your brand and your company, the way that your company culture is represented at work into your branding strategy. We've also talked about personas. We've talked about how you can take a look at your customer base and decide how to talk to them on their terms and what that means to your brand. So there's a lot of things that companies are doing with digital branding that we think are great examples of how to express your brand, but also take next level steps with advertising and just really outside the box ways to let people know that you're there. We've got some of those great examples today, as I'm going to share with you 5 great examples of digital brand strategies. This is from an article that I found on singlegrain.com. They had a few more examples in this, but these are ones that I really like a lot and companies that I'm familiar with. We start with Zappos. Now, Zappos.com is an online shoe retailer. Zappos knew their customers, and they changed the way that everybody looks at online shopping. So Zappos knew a couple things. What Zappos did was they responded to the fact that people didn't like buying things online that they were going to wear because they didn't know what size it was going to be, different clothing items, shoes fit different ways. And one of the biggest obstacles and pain points that their customers had was, I hate buying things because returning it is a hassle and I never know if I'm going to like it. So Zappos introduced one of the most liberal return policies online. You could return anything. You could just return it and it would come back. They also gave free shipping both ways for returns. They shipped it to you for free, and then if you needed to ship it back, they covered that for you, all covered. And they got so good at customer experience that people became true advocates for them. They had a whole network of advocates out there that were, just singing their praises and making them, just one of those brands that everybody knew. So Zappos changed not only the way their store worked and their branding, but how everybody does shipping now. That's the way it always is. So kudos to Zappos. Mint.com was a little bit different. Now, Mint is a kind of like a personal financial planning website. It can help you learn what you have in your checking account, how to balance your checkbook, what you have in your savings account. It can show you ways to trade money, different things like that. And they produced content at a crazy rate to keep up with their industry. Mint was up against some industry stalwarts. I mean, they were up against all the big banks, all the big investment companies, and they had to find a way to get their domain authority up and let people know what they did. So Mint decided to do content. They produced hundreds of content pieces about their industry, and they immediately inserted themselves into the discussion as an authority. You could no longer talk about personal finance without talking about Mint. They took something that had traditionally been face-to-face and moved it to a digital format, and their branding just became, it's easy to work with us, basically. They spoke right to the pain points of their customers. They knew what people needed help with. They recently sold their company to Intuit for $170 million. So great job by Mint establishing themselves an authority through content. Dollar Shave Club. Now this one I really like a lot. Dollar Shave Club was a concept that made no sense to people when it came out. What is this brand talking about for $1 they're going to ship you razors every month? Razors are way more expensive than that. I know from shaving my head how much razors cost. So they just simply changed the way people look at razors, but they did it a couple of different ways. Not only did they make it affordable, but they made it fun, and whoever thought razors would be fun. So they changed the tone of razors, the razor industry, with funny content. They had some funny videos right out of the gate that people were watching just because they were good independently, whether they were representing a brand or not. They injected humor as a brand identity to compete against companies that had been around forever. Gillette, Schick, Bic. These are companies that have been selling razors for 100 years, and they'd always done it the same way. A manly man razor company and big dramatic commercials during football games, all this stuff. And Dollar Shave Club went a completely different direction and just were funny, really good funny videos. They had hilarious on-site content. They had blogs like, should I trim my nose hairs with my fingers? Like crazy stuff that they have in there. But it was really good. It followed with their brand. It was the voice of their brand. It matched their messaging. They recently sold their company for $1 billion. So shouts out to Dollar Shave Club. I loved how they built their brand and really had their identity, and now they're a household name. So piggybacking kind of off of what they did, Airbnb wanted to change the face of accommodations, right? Airbnb, for those that don't know, it's a process where people rent their houses or just a bedroom in their house out for a limited amount of time. And people are making money from that. And hotel chains now have legitimate concerns because you can rent an entire house for what it might cost you to rent a room for a night in some places. So Airbnb put the focus on their brand and used customer experience to do that. So how did they make the customer the center of their branding? They used customer-driven content. And what they did was their social media, they had hashtags like Airbnb, and they had customers talk about their experience. And they put that content up on all their social media platforms, and their customers became advocates, but they really became their whole marketing advertising strategy. They had 13.3 million social media interactions. 13.3 million interactions. They use social media to show all of these worldwide destinations because what started in just America went all over the world. You can get Airbnb in all these different countries now. They just recently made $31 billion in 2017. That's a huge number and a strategy where they just let their customers do the talking. Domino's Pizza. I like this one. Domino's, they took the pizza out. Everybody takes the descriptor out now in their names. It's no longer Domino's Pizza. It's just Domino's. But Domino's got hip to tech. How do you sell your brand when you're a pizza company? You could talk about your specials, you could talk about your ingredients, but Domino's took it digital and they changed a lot of the way that we think about ordering food online. A lot of the things that you see with some of these food delivery services, they got directly from Domino's. So what did they do? They had innovations like Domino's Anywhere. This is an ordering service where you can use Twitter. Now you can use all Slack, all kinds of different messaging services to order Domino's. You don't have to click a bunch of buttons. You simply go to Domino's and tell them what you want, give them your address, and they deliver it. They also use chatbot services, right? So, the chatbots will come on, ask you what you want. That makes it fast. It eliminates overhead at Domino's, keeps the cost down, and makes it so that it's really easy to order pizza with them, which became one of the things about their brand. They used to have the 30 minutes or less strategy, right? Domino's has always been about get things fast. They used to have a strategy where if your pizza didn't get there in 30 minutes, you got it for free. You didn't have to pay for it. Now that's kind of standard with pizza places. But now Domino's has taken it one step further. They've made it even easier for you to get food fast. If you look at their website, in all honesty, they look more like a tech company than a pizza company. If you look at their website one time, you're going to see it doesn't look like any other pizza company in the world. And they can show you where their pizza is in the process so you always know. So, a lot of the tracking that you see with places like Amazon, like you place your order, here's your order, now it's going out, now it's been shipped, here's where it's at. Domino's applied that to pizza. Your pizza's in the oven. Your pizza just left. The delivery driver's on his way. Here's where his car is. Driving down the street. He's at your door. Domino's tracked food the way we track shipping for other packages, and it really paid off. And that zero-click ordering. You don't have to click anywhere to order. You can simply go to Twitter and put in your order. That takes all the pain out of going through this process to order. It's so much easier. So Domino's changed their branding by getting hip to tech, but they remain true to their branding by making things easier and faster. So there's 5 great examples of companies that have done great things with digital branding. You can always apply this to your business as well. You might not have the money to do the tech like Domino's does, but there are small things with tech that you can incorporate all the time. You certainly can find somebody, if it's not you, to make funny videos if you wanted to. And certainly customer service and customer experience, well, those are things that you can always change on your own. You can always deliver a better experience for your customers. So that's today's coffee cup. We hope that you've learned more about digital branding strategies before you finished your first cup of coffee than your competition will all day. And we enjoyed being with you. Take care.